Hey, welcome back to Alien RestoMod Garage. This is part 2 of my wiring episodes. As you can see, the wire is gone. Threw it on the floor pretty much. Didn't get mad at it, got frustrated with it. Still trying to do a lot, but I wanted to map out everything, where everything connected, to make sure the wires were long enough and I had them in the right position and everything. Because what I want to do, I think I told you in the last video, but if not, I'm going to just repeat myself. The sun. I was going to make the hole right here for all the wires to come through. So behind the firewall, underneath the dash, is going to be the BCM, the fuse box, the OBDII connector, and any wires that go in there. I'm not going to have this out here. I want it clean as possible. So this has the bundle coming out here, and then the wires going to their respective connectors. So what I did on my table, plywood table, is I made this the firewall. So I just marked it off, and I measured out where the mass airflow was, the alternator, where all the injectors are. I got the knock sensor on either, whatever side they're on and everything. Knock sensor, oil pressure, cam, map sensor, and then you got the water temp. And then anything going back from the firewall underneath is the O2 sensors. Now the O2 sensors are, I'm going to use Cadillac converters. So first one's 3 foot, next one at 5 foot. I figured that'd be good for O2 sensors. Then you have the transmission, neutral safety switch. Then on the other side, you got the other O2 sensors, same size. And then I have the wires to the fuel tank, the sending unit, and the pump. And that should be it. And then everything else is going to be a hole pretty much right about here in the dash, underneath the dash, and I'll stuff it in there somewhere. Hopefully it'll work. I've seen a bunch of you guys do it online, so I'm hoping it's going to work. The only problem is with me doing that, I've seen a couple of you guys do a really small fuse block. Like 7 fuses and about 3 relays. This is the one I'm going with. This has 15 fuses and 8 relays, or 10 relays. So, I'm not really great about wiring, and I've been looking at about 4 or 5 different guys, and I've been the manufacturers and everything, and I'm probably going to use 8 of these. I don't know. I'll show you guys in a little bit. But right now, I'm going to grab the wires, stick it up here like it's all going to connect up here so you can get a picture of what I'm doing. All right, the it looks worse than it did before. I don't know. I still have to attach the OBDII port. This is the crap, I don't even know. Shoot, I forgot what it was. This goes to the alternator and it actually hooks up with this. This is a BCM, this is a battery control module. Actually, that's it. This actually links up right here. Pretty sure the other way. Yep, like that. So I still have to hook that up. But what you see here is here from this point on forward, those are the wires that you're going to see. This is where it's going to come through the firewall, and all these wires will connect to all their points of interest. There's plenty of line. Well, there's a couple that are questionable. It's like this battery control module, it actually goes up there. So I gotta add wire to that. But anyways, and then everything else, this big conglomerate of mess is going underneath the dashboard. This leg right here goes down, and it's everything that goes underneath the car, the O2 sensors, both the transmission connector and the neutral safety switch. And you go to the other side, here's the O2 sensor wires. As you can see, there's plenty of line, so I don't have to worry about that. I do have extra wires I haven't figured out yet, but I will. Here's the OBDII sensor wires. So that's going to go underneath the dash. I just have them spread out so you can see. But this is where I'm at right now. My next step is I need to solder these wires. Make sure I do the right thing and the right gauge of wire for what it's going to do. Because I still haven't cut all these hot wires off. I still got to find out where all they go, make sure I need them. If I don't need them, get rid of them. But I still need to do that. Also, I need to set this up. How I'm going to wire it and why and what. I'm going to do that. I kind of drew it out a little bit. I'll show you in a little while, but I want to do it on the computer and make it a little cleaner because it's a mess. It's like spaghetti. It looks like that. But anyways, that's it for now. This is where I'm at. So when I get more, I'll add more. Okay, I'm back, and we're going to do a little bit of soldering. What I'm going to work on right now is the battery control module. This device, it goes on the negative cable, and here's the connector on it. Now I wasn't sure how to wire it, and I found online, I forgot the guy's name, I'll just call him the dude. But this is how he wired it, and he said it ran fine. You got your two wires going to your alternator, to the hot. He said not used on that one, ground, and their data serial. So mine's set up pretty much the same way. Alternator, hot, ground, not used, OBDII serial. I have another wire that goes from to the OBDII and hooks up to this one, and I'm thinking I want to splice that one and this one together into this one. I don't know, he said it needs to go in there, and I know the other wire needs to go in there, but this also has to go in there too. So I don't know if it'll screw it up or not, but that's what I plan on doing. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to cut some wire, gray and red. I think this is like 18 or 20 gauge. So what I have is 20 gauge. And I've grabbed a gray wire from one of the old pieces, and it looks the same on thickness and all that. But here's the alternator connector. That's what we're going to wire it to. So let's get started. Okay, let me see what we're going to do. First off, here's my two donor wires, I guess. I have a gray and a red, and they're 20 gauge because these two wires that go from the BCM connector is 20 gauge, so that'll work out. So what you're going to do to solder, you're just going to twist. You're actually going to fray it a little bit. So you get the legs or little arms to intermingle and then twist it. It'll be a better connection. And then before you do that, make sure you put your shrink wrap? I don't know. Shrink tubes on there first, so you know. All right, that took forever. I'm not really great at soldering. But thing is, you heat up the wire, and then it's easier to put the solder on. You know, it just takes practice, I guess. The next step is to put the sleeves on. And these are the shrink sleeves. I'm going to try and do both at once. See what happens. All right, there you have it. That's how I'm soldering all the wires together. This one looks better than this one. But anyways, so when I get done with everything, I'll show you what I got. Okay, there you have it. I just wanted to show you how I was connecting the wires. And you got to remember when you're doing these wires, when you use solder in that area right there, you can't bend it right there. Don't make that a bending point because it'll screw it up. All right. But anyways, this BCM battery control module's almost all the way hooked up. I still have to hook up the power, and this wire right here, I know it's green, but I'm only using what I have, is going to connect to the alternator, this gray wire. And what that does, it's the duty cycle for the alternator to work the BCM. I don't know how it works, but that's how I'm going to hook it up. Some wires that are still left over, and I'm not going to hook up just yet because they have to do with the fuse block. I have the solenoid wire. This right here, the starter solenoid, it's purple. Goes out all the way over here, and I need to hook it up to the relay and make sure it goes into a relay so I don't screw something up. These wires right here, there's only 3. I know there's a lot of tape, but they're just notes for me. They go to the fuse block. And what else is left over? Coming around from the OBD, the BCM. The BCM has a data serial wire. So what I did is I found a white wire and I spliced it in, or soldered it, got it all the way back here, and it's going to go into the OBDII port number 2. Now there's 2 wires going in there. I don't know if that is going to screw things up, but I got a, the class 2 serial data number 58. That has to go into the OBDII, and I don't know what to do with this serial data wire from the BCM, so I'm going to splice it in, put it in there, and hopefully it'll, information flow is going on. I don't know. That's one of the questions I'm asking for you guys. So if somebody has, don't do that, or yeah, that sounds cool, let me know. I've already talked about all these. These are all complete. Now here you have the hot wires. 2 more hot wires that are going to be for the bundle. And then these wires go into the dash. You're going to have your speedometer, the tach, and your check engine light. This right here is going to hook up to the float back at the fuel tank. This wire, I got to extend it. This wire right here, I don't think I need. I don't know, I have to look it up. Green 42, 49. But that's pretty much it on the loose wires. But to make more sense of this, I did a PowerPoint presentation, and let me show you that real quick on how I'm going to wire everything, so you get a better idea of what what my thought process is. Because I know looking at this is just a mess, but I have a pretty good idea. So hang on. All right, what I'm about to show you is a conglomeration of, I'm taking pieces from different guys out there, what they put on the internet, and a couple, I don't know where I got them from. I just gathered it, and then when I was putting everything together, I just used that information to help me wire things. Like this wire setup right here, I drew this out based off of a photograph on the internet. This is your generator battery control module. You got your black, your gray, your power, serial, your ground, and it goes to the alternator. These two right here go to the alternator. But this is what I got off the internet. This is the OBD or BCM, sorry. This is BCM. He's not using this wire. I don't think I used it, but serial data, that's a white wire that's going all the way back to the OBDII port. Slot number 2 is your serial data port, and I think that this is where it goes. I'm going to link it up with another wire that goes there. This is your alternator and ground, and then 12 volts hot switched. So that's how I set my plug up. And I've already, you saw yesterday, I've added the alternator connector. I haven't done the hot. Serial data I lengthened, and the ground. And then this wire I'm just going to put out of the way until I make sure I don't need it. Now remember, I put a tank sink in. I'm using their setup. This bypasses the BCM, so you don't go through the computer. So as soon as you turn on key hot, goes to the relay starts up the pump, puts pressure in there. Just to protect the relay, this is a circuit breaker. So you can go on tank sync and just download this. That's exactly what I did. Now the fans, the 2 fans, I forgot who this was. I apologize, but I liked his fan setup. He's using 3 relays, and it's 2 fans, and you're also using the bullet temperature sensor to activate both fans. So you have the low speed, and then you have the high speed. But I'll show you what I drove up. Just to let you know, this is the neutral safety switch that I'm using right now. I know there's one out there like this, but this one applied to the year of my vehicle, which is an 03 Yukon. And a lot of these wires just went to attack. I'm going to go ahead and put a fuse on them because they were fused. So I'm going to go ahead and fuse them up and make sure that whatever's in here gets what it needs. Here's a neutral safety switch setup that I used. I don't know the guy's name or his website on this, but he's 2 relays and blue 34. I think 32 is in there as well, but he's got great instructions. Let's see if you can see them. You have to pause it to read it, but you have the starter, ignition switch, ignition key on, run, provide 12 hot. But both fans are hooked up there, and the neutral safety switch is hooked up. So this is what I used. Also I used is from lt1swap.com and YouTube channel, You Can Do It Too. These are You Can Do It Too channel drawings. This is a great setup. It's just 2 relays and 4 fuses, so this standalone harness is really simple. He put this in his Jeep, which is pretty cool. But this is a different connector that goes under the dash. He wanted to clean up the wires, and he did a nice job. But you can go to YouTube, You Can Do It Too, and you can download all this information from his channel. This is a setup for the merging and wiring plan that he has. And all I did was follow the exact same thing, because we had pretty much the same thing. Here's what's the OBDII connector under the dash. There's the data wire, the ground, and the power. Check engine light, cooling fan, tachometer, oil pressure gauge. All that goes underneath the dash and hooks up on there. So let me show you what I did. And it's a little messy. This is the OBDII setup. Like, there's your serial data port. I have 2 wires actually coming in together going into this port, and then you have your ground and your power, oil pressure gauge, and then this is green 10 and green 46, which is your tack, and this goes to your check engine light, and your power one. That's how I'm going to set up that. Now this is the setup for the fuse block. It is busy, but like I said, I took from mini to make one. When I first drew it out, that was kind of messy, but here's the tank sink. We went over here in the corner, and you got the circuit breaker. Here's a fuel pump relay. This doesn't even go through the PCM, so that's not controlling it. The only thing controlling it is you turning the key on, and the pump putting pressure in the lines, and then you're good to go. And then here's the main relay. This is 12-volt power battery right here coming in, and then it's linking up to all the fuses, and I don't have I'll just have the wires going across to each fuse. I don't have a setup where you can just do one fuse and they're all linked up. I didn't get one of those. But everything hooked up to the fuse blocks right here. You got your sensors, MAF, check engine light, all your injectors going to this fuse, and this fuse covering the coils. 1357, 2468, and 2 wires come from your PCM. This is the orange battery, 12 volts. And it's going to be running your, I think it's 12 volts keyed. I'm not sure on that. But, so that's how that's set up. Now, I've used other fuses or relays on here. It would just be very crowded. So you got to remember, this is the main, and it feeds down to this one. And then that's where we feed all the fuses going across. So here's number 2. This is the fan setup. It's a little messy as well, but you got 3 relays. Fan 1, 12-volt supply. You got your high-speed fan on. Is hooked up to this relay and this relay. You got your ground, and then you have your low speed, which is hooked up to this relay. Now remember, this relay right here is your main. and it goes down to this spot right here, which powers up all the fuses. So it's going to power up this fuse, going to come up, hit here, and go over here. This fuse goes up, connects here, here, and here. So we got everything's getting powered on, and it's going to run through the coolant temperature sensor. And then here's your ground for that. But that's basically it. This is just a schematic of how these are set up. You got your 30, 85, 86, 87, and 87A if you're using it. I don't think I'm using any 87As on there. But so that's your dual fan setup. Now add more. We moved from your 3 fans. Now here's the main, and we're going over here, and this is neutral safety switch. This is the exact same setup that guy I showed you had. Starters coming in here, starter wire coming in here, start position, ignition key, 12 volts. That's your main. So that's getting the power over to these 2 relays, and then it's getting it over to the neutral safety switch. The fuses. Now those 3 wires I showed you when we were out in the garage that had a lot of tape on it, I don't think I'm going to be using those. But I didn't want to screw up the PCM or the neutral safety switch, so I'm doing exactly what they had on there. They went to a fuse, so I'm putting them to a fuse and getting power to them, because these 3 do go to the neutral safety switch connectors. So these are going to get turned on and it'll be hot. And then you have the 2 wires, blue 34 and blue 32, which have deal with the neutral safety switch. And then you got your connector up here. I don't know how to explain it other than that. This is how I'm going to use my fuse block. I'm going to put this out there so hopefully one of you guys looks at it and understands it and goes, yeah, that'll work. No, it won't work. I'm always looking for comments because it's uncharted territory when it comes to wiring stuff. And I appreciate all the stuff that's out there. Everybody that has put stuff out. You Can Do It Too has done an awesome job. He's got some, everything you possibly need for, standalone wire setup and just to understand it. Also, lt1swap.com. Go to those sites, pick them clean for knowledge. And you got to really understand how a relay works, how power comes in and all that. And hopefully I have it set up right. Everybody that I've grabbed information from, their setup, they've said that it worked. So I'm going to go with that. But anyhow, that's all I have for now. I'm going to go ahead and put this out there. And before I start wiring it up, if anybody has any comments, let me know so I can do it right. And then I'll do another video to correct whatever I did wrong. All right? So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Alien RestoMod Garage.